Welcome to the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast, where Gauri Ramkumar of Document 360 finds the best SaaS self-service knowledge bases in the world and then interviews their creators. Let's get started with today's episode.
So welcome everyone to our Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast. So today I have Khurshid Alam as our guest. So Khurshid, with over 12 years of experience with technical writing, is the lead for documentation at Quick Heal Technologies LLC. So a short introduction to Quick Heal Technologies. It's a leading IT security solutions provider and an ISO 9001 certified company. So welcome, Khurshid, to Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast. So how are you today?
Yeah, fine. I'm fine.
Thank you so much. So before we start, jump into the questions, Khurshid, would you be able to help me understand a bit more about your profile and about your company? What is its main business and what is the sector you're trying to serve?
Hi, I'm Khurshid and working as a team lead in documentation. Okay. So we have six, in fact, right now we have 4 members team in documentation. We, that means, and we are working with Quick Heal. Quick Heal is, in fact, right now a global leader in providing security solution, means antivirus products for laptop, computers, and handheld devices. Okay, so we are basically into digital security solutions, and our products, in fact, are available for all kinds of verticals and domains, include starting from consumer products to enterprise products to digital devices. So we have a good range of products, security solutions for to meet out, in fact, a requirement for digital security, that is antivirus protection. And now we are more than 25 years old into security domain.
Very good. Fantastic. That's quite a long time.
Right.
Super. So I did look at your LinkedIn profile, and the amount of experience you have with technical documentation is amazing. 12 years of experience. So I'm very keen to understand more about how you landed up in this career. So how did you initially got into documentation?
Actually, see, since very early, in fact, I am from arts discipline. I did graduation and post-graduation in English literature, okay, as major subject. So obviously, as a student in of literature, obviously you have some habit of writing something, okay. So, but it was more creative, literary, and fiction in nature initially. Gradually, I started writing articles on various topics for websites that earned me money. This is how I got familiar with technical writing. In the beginning, I generally used to write ebooks, then started documentation. So by the time I got some experience in documentation, I just was hired by a software company. Since then, I started my career as a technical writer, okay? Although it was a gradual growth, I believe. But I trained myself widely and deeply on professional writing, mastered technologies and authoring tools, all those which are required for a good professional.
Fantastic. So I'm sure you must have gone through various processes and different strategies before you nail down to one particular methodology or process. So what is your documentation process? And normally who does get involved in it?
Actually, see, I have worked with several organizations, okay, until now. So I have seen several types of documentation process at various organizations. Currently, we follow Agile methodology, where in fact, Agile methodology demands everyone to keep on toes. So when the task is initiated, means we are involved as a technical writer. We are involved since very beginning, from concept gate to exit gate, and into documentation process, including from designer, means designer of application software, all engineers, all subject matter experts, and in fact assurance engineers are involved into documentation process. Means, for example, they give you required information. At the same time, they help you understand what the product is. And as part of documentation process, in fact, I have, as a professional, I have to explore the software myself. So obviously these things are involved. At the same time, important thing is that to write very much required information. That is the complete process. I'm not going into exactly the process of documentation life cycle, okay? Mm-hmm. Because generally this is available across any place online right now. So I'm just talking about the real scenario.
Okay. Great. So I think you kind of partly answered the other point. What are the main important factors to consider when creating documentation for your SaaS business?
Yeah, actually, what I believe, because see that it would be not an exaggeration to accept that I'm a very skilled technical writer, okay, in my field. And because I have worked with a large team of technical writers. In earlier organization, we were more than 100 technical writers. Okay.
Wow.
In one of the organization, we were 50 technical writers. Okay. So I created documentation for products, for services, for everything. So I believe that documentation should have multi-purpose usability. Okay, I'm just answering your important factors to look into. Mm-hmm. It should be used as a help tool, a means aimed to reduce customer support calls, and as product awareness resource. For SaaS, means that is software as service. So these factors become even more important and desirable. Okay.
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah. So you keep the business happy, you keep your customers happy by giving.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Super. So again, coming to the same point, what role do you think a good documentation have in your customer service or success strategy?
In customer success, I believe that we should aim to create documentation, particularly with a target to meet customer success strategy. Okay. And what is that? That is adequate information about products and services, and it should means this information should be aimed to resolve issues. Okay, it should not be like fiction writing, because generally people do not sit and read from beginning to end. Okay, this is not the tendency of any user, and this is very, very genuine method, because right now in modern time, when we are in 21st century, we are in fact sitting a huge pile of information right now. So there is too much to read. So we generally read only that item which we actually require. Okay. So any product or service must provide adequate information and in all possible means, so that any customer requiring information should check in and at the time when they need and resolve their issue on their own. This should be the approach. Okay.
Yep.
So because you, for example, right now you have several social networking platforms or email methodology, or there are several methods. So we can provide information that is adequate information. Simple.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah, super. So you did mention in my previous question that a good documentation or an important factor in making your documentation good is reduce the number of support tickets. So have you noticed any kind of reduction in workload since introducing such high quality documentation to your organization?
Yes. Quality documentation, I believe, on products and services is bound to reduce your workload. Okay, this is very much clear. Documentation should be shared across various channels, as I said, where from where customer can access the information at means as soon as they need. Simple. Just I will give you one example that some time back, 3 years, something like that. So there were so many support calls, okay, rising up. So there were so many tickets queued. So we in fact analyzed so many calls, we listened to so many video calls, video records, discussion about customers and all. So I provided one source or solution that uh, the help which we provide in product, in fact, some important and crucial should come up as soon as they require. For example, if anyone is updating product, okay, taking up updates, new updates, and it fails, so there should one message should appear where just upon clicking that information, that specific information should be in such a way that people can resolve their issue on their own. I believe after working on products and services for IT field for so long period, I have understood one thing, that customers, those who are in fact using the products, they do not find it quite tempting to call customer support. Okay, they don't want to go to write any email. They do not want to call, pick up, in fact, entail any calls. And no, they in fact intend that there should be some information, some method, some way out that they can resolve in a quickest way. Okay, so this is the funda, and I introduce a very different type of self-help, that is self-help. In fact, I termed it loosely. So it is self-help, and typically you just typically believe me one thing, that very soon after we implemented, Adobe also imitated the same way. So in fact, I was just laughing and showing all the team members that, okay, see this, what we in fact adopted. Very soon after that, I don't know that they imitate our process, but yes, they also simultaneously used this method the same way, that need help, then okay, do this. Simple. So this Fantastic. Was how and the support calls reduced drastically after implementing this solution.
Fantastic. So I'm sure you will be able to help me with this question, because in my previous conversations with a number of people, this direct ROI is something we find it very hard to measure, especially when it comes to knowledge base or documentation. Right. So how have you cracked this?
Yes. This is a very typical area, particularly because it is very, you see, everything is not measurable. Okay. So it is very difficult when we claim that, okay, we have done this, we achieved this, that, whatever, but it is very difficult to measure everything. Okay. But I will give you one beautiful example here. In fact, I believe that I'm fortunate to play a pivotal role in my organization where I work, okay? Where I am engaged in finding out ways all the time where we get ROI and more visibly. It is not simple just we are getting ROI, but more visibly, so that I can show to the higher management, okay? So I will just give you one example. Just traditionally, we have PDF, means all documents in PDF format. Now, this is my sole responsibility that I am currently carrying on. I'm migrating on to online help on CMS based. And with the support of, because on CMS, obviously you may be knowing this very clearly, that there are so many plugins for everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have used one for translation. And because in our case, we provide documentation and content in multiple languages, in more than 8 languages, okay, worldwide. So this cost us dearly, okay. So after implementing this, we just reduced, means this was my target, to reduce cost hugely, to avoid translation and localization for as much content as possible. Okay. And by a rough estimation, I saved almost 150,000 US dollar annually. This is annual picture. Okay. And since now it will be always, that means $150,000. So think about this, that what amount I saved. And this was Miss ROI, simple.
Yeah, true, very true. Wow, that's amazing to know, Khurshid.
Right. In fact, all team members and all higher management were just surprised to see this, and they applauded me. In fact, yeah, you did great thing.
Yeah. I can clearly understand, and as I said in the beginning of this topic, it's very difficult to measure the ROI.
Correct.
When the number of support tickets reduces, you can't directly relate to a documentation, right? It could be anything. So yeah. Fantastic. So are you also generating any organic search traffic from your knowledge base?
Yeah, and this is very good. Until now, there was no such rule, but my planned online method is targeted toward that, generating search traffic and push passive sale and show ads, even ads, just like as you may be seeing just when you browse online. Okay, you just some ads pop up. So just I'm aiming to pop up such similar ads as well when any people will be seeing. So my target, there are 3 targets, like generating search traffic and push passive sales and place ads. Okay. This is what, in fact, this is just now under planning. Okay, what we are currently I'm working on.
Okay, fine. So I mean, based on your experience so far with your documentation and the customer visits, is there any particular article or category you think might pull a lot of traffic to your website, knowledge base?
See, first thing is that what I believe that PDF and documentation should not be in Word document or PDF format. Okay, they should be available as online help. This is my personal perception. Okay, this will help you in implementing, means you as a professional to implement several things which in fact Google provides. Okay, suggests. So you can achieve more goals. Okay, this is the simple thing. And now regarding what I missed a few things. What you said?
Just I'm curious to know. Do you know if there are any particular categories or articles that might?
Right. Yes. So see, we have blog system. Okay, we already have blog separate, but that goes separately. Okay, so when you have blog, means you have much freedom to create or writing any type. For example, I will show you. I will give you one example that one of my colleagues, not from my team, from some sales team or something else, they wrote one good article on and published it on very 1st January 2020. So it created huge viewership. Okay, because it was like how to be safe in 2020 or something like that. So if you have blog, then generally I believe that when you are in fact writing documentation, you do not have much freedom, much scope to create articles of other interest. Okay. But if you have separate platform like blogs or other forums or something like that, there you can obviously generate topics. For example, just I'm currently writing on anti-tracking feature, which is in fact coming up in our product. Okay. So when you visit any website, so obviously you see the ads, and ads are typically related to your interest. Okay. So, for example, you are into designing field. So obviously you will see design thinking all the time. Okay. So this means that there are people, or there are websites, or there are some search engines. In fact, they are watching you, keeping an eye on you, what you are doing. So based on this, we are bringing out anti-tracker. We will stop trackers so that your life is peaceful and very much private. you can really enjoy anything. Okay. So this means that articles can be written on relevant topics, particularly with two views. One is what the trends is going on, current trend in digital area or in whatever area your domain you are in. And another thing is that what features you are bringing up, so that you just correlate both of them, and you can create a writing on current topics or current trend.
Great. Khurshid, I should say that the way you're talking and the points you mentioned in the last 20 minutes clearly shows how much passionate you are about creating these contents, and it's just not for the sake of doing it. You really put your heart and soul into it. Yeah.
Correct.
So let's just finish off with some rapid fire round questions. Who have you learned the most about documentation from in your career?
Actually, there were immediate reporting managers and some experienced colleagues earlier. But I soon after 1 year or two, I studied a lot of books on and online tutorials and everything. Any information I could grab on. Okay, so I in fact studied a lot about communication, how we should create better communication, better documentation, everything. So I read lots of books, okay, on that. And typically I created several templates, several policies, and for our documentation in current organization. So at the same time, I evaluated and in fact created a policy, created a workflow. You will be surprised to know that I created a separate workflow for translation, targeted toward translation, how to write simplified English, at the same time how to target international audience. So these in fact came because only after reading so many materials. Okay. Now, typically, I myself am writing a book on documentation, like be expert in technical documentation.
Fantastic.
So this was a brief journey.
Wow. So, as you rightly said, initially you had some mentors, but then you read a lot of materials outside, and that's how you learn the most. So, can you share some one or two documentation related resource that you recently consumed?
In fact, generally I refer to all industry standard guidelines like Microsoft Technical Publication. And for language, if you want to focus on language, English language, that is Manual of Chicago on English language. And for editing, obviously you should check Cambridge Companion to Editors. Okay, so these four books. In fact, I believe that are enough to make you a good writer. Like Companion to Editors means I'm not taking it exact name because I don't remember its exact name, but it is like Cambridge from Cambridge University Press. It is Companion to Editors. Okay. This is for language, for editing, because in documentation you need editing and proofreading, very strong skill in proofreading, so that you present very impeccable English. And for creating language, how to use grammar, Manual of Chicago, these two. And another is to follow industry standard. You have to read Microsoft Technical Publication, as I said, and one is on by Sun Microsystem. Okay, something like technical book or technical writing.
Okay, great. So this is the question for you, apt question for you. So what is the one piece of documentation related advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
See, I believe that documentation should be created aimed at multiple purposes, not one, two. Okay, it should not be like that manual guide only, how to configure, how to use the feature, but it should be multi-purpose. The first thing, it should be neither short nor too long. It should be complete and adequate. That's it.
Great. So basically, you need to know what you're doing.
Correct.
Thank you. So thank you, Khurshid, for sharing this amazing journey, and right from where you started, learning from literature, doing a master's in it, and then you have worked with huge number of technical writers, ranging from 50 to 100. It's such a pleasure to hear what you've gone through in the last few years. I shouldn't say few years, lot of years, and that was great. Very, very inspiring, Khurshid. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. For your time.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast. Please head to iTunes, rate, and provide honest feedback on the podcast. See you next week.